Hello, hello, and welcome to my Pick Three at a Glance family and first time viewers. Today, what we have is the number prediction for December the 24th, 2022. At Pick Three at a Glance, we take 22 numbers and do the 1-1 rundown on those 22 numbers. And with those 22 numbers, we have 22 columns. And you have all 1,000 numbers and their possible combinations, all at a glance with the Pick Three at a Glance system. That's why I say we the home of no tic-tac-toe, no date sum, no grids, no flips, no multiple rundowns, because we can track all 1,000 numbers at a glance. And with the tic-tac-toe, date sums, and grids and flips, and most of those rundowns is set up for you to try to hit and find out what numbers come the next day. Uh, from my playing Pick Three for 30 years, it's almost that's impossible almost, for the simple reason you got 1,000 numbers, and with those 1,000 numbers, if you and 365 days in the year, if you played a different number 365 days, you still got 635 numbers you ain't gonna touch. You ain't gonna tic-tac-toe your way to. You ain't gonna date something your way to. You ain't gonna grid your way to. You ain't gonna flip your way to. Or do multiple different rundowns your way to. To me, the best way, and it's been very beneficial to me, is tracking the actual 1,000 numbers. And with Pick Three at a Glance, it's set up where you can track the front pair, the back pair, a single pair, single digits, all at a glance. With me, I was trying to look for a system, something to say to get a picture in everybody's head. And I think the best thing I've heard is me, myself, and plenty of other people, I'm sure, have been looking at the trees instead of looking at the forest. Can't see the forest for looking at the trees. And the tic-tac-toe, date sums, and the different grids are just the trees. But with Pick Three at a Glance, you're looking at the whole forest. You can track everything. Pick Three is the only one we can do that on with 1,000 numbers. You can't do it on Pick Four and all the rest of those numbers, because they're set up strictly to be luck, and that's all you're going to get is luck. But with Pick Three, through my 30 years and putting this system together, you can track everything. Like I say, you can track each individual number, because when you do the 1-1 rundown with the 22 columns, you're going to have all 1,000 numbers at a glance to check off and use the law of average to your advantage. That's what the system is based on, all right? So this is why when I do these numbers here that's on the board here, these are the actual numbers that are left for the year to play. These are not guess numbers. These are not numbers I'm pulling out the air. These are not numbers I'm going everywhere to try to find from somebody. These numbers are specific for Missouri evenings. Missouri evening draws from being tracked from the January to present. And it's a real simple system to use. And I can teach this system to anybody in 30 minutes. I got 600 something odd videos for everybody to go to and study on. And I'll be putting up more videos. And like I say, I'm teaching these. I'm not just throwing you some numbers and telling you to play them. And I'm not telling you to play them midday. Because if I want to give you numbers to play midday, I'm going to have to do exactly what I'm doing now, is track the midday numbers. I have to put it together so you can see the forest and not be looking at the trees. Okay? And if you don't know why you're playing your number, like I used to be, you shouldn't play the numbers. You should know. Only way you're going to know the numbers and know anything about them numbers is tracking and breaking those numbers down and getting the proper data so you can strategize properly on hitting. For your state, and you as an individual. That's how we get them, y'all. That's how we get them. Because all the numbers are going to rotate different from midday and evening, and from state to state. And it's 1,000 numbers, and they say, well, it's going to travel to your state, and it's going to travel to this state, and travel. It's 1,000 numbers. It can't help but travel. Excuse me. We making more of this than we should be making. They go cross paths. It's only 1,000 numbers. That's looking at the trees instead of looking at the forest. All the numbers rotate different. All the numbers. Midday gonna rotate different from evening. If the number, if you're in your state, I'm giving an example. If in your state, if midday, if 1, 2, 3 come midday, and then it comes evening 1, 2, 3 on that same day, it just cross paths. But the patterns are not the same. You have to know what the actual pattern, you have to know what the movie looked like. You have to know what the whole forest looked like to play. Just because it becomes midday 1, 2, 3, that number might not show up all year as 1, 2, 3 on evening. If you ain't tracked it and know why you playing it. So numbers just cross paths. So just because it played on midday don't mean that the pattern is the same on evening, or what the pattern is in Kansas City, California, New York, Canada, everywhere where they play 1,000 numbers. If you're not tracking the actual numbers, you're playing a loser's game. But with Pick 3, it's the only one that we can track everything. You can track the front pair, like I say that. You can track the back pair. You can track the single pair. You can track with Pick 3 at a glance, you can track the actual number and what column it fell off of. And if you plan and you miss, then you'll know why you missed, because you can look at the column and know how the numbers are rotating all at a glance. And stop looking at the trees and start looking at the forest. That's what it is. That's how I see it. So this is Missouri Evening Draw, state specific. All right. But I can teach this system to anybody in 30 minutes. Won't hold you on the phone long at all if you call me. Or I can kind of text it to you where you understand it. It's a fifth grader can understand what I'm going to give you. And it's over 30 years that I put this system together. And when I put it together, be truthful with you, it wasn't really that complicated for me, because I wasn't no mathematician or like math in school. But when I ran those 22 numbers and did 1-1 rundown on them, and seen that I could look at all 1,000 numbers at a glance, I knew I was on to something. I knew I had something. And that's why at the same time, when I came up with it, I said, man, I can see all these 1,000 numbers at a glance. And that's what I call it, Pick 3 at a glance, from 30 years ago. So now I'm going to get off this soapbox on these numbers, but I want everybody to stop looking at them trees. We can do this, y'all. If we track them front pairs and back pairs on each state and them single numbers and those digits and all that, we can get them. We can be much better Pick 3 players. It's been, I ain't going to say just good to be, I'm saying been great for me. All right? And I'm just passing on the blessings. So like I said, I'll be here to help you any way I can. All right? So, here, I always start off with the numbers I'm playing. I'm playing 160, 076, and 574. I know why I'm playing these numbers. Because in 2021, these three numbers didn't come at all in any of the six-way combinations, at all on evenings. Then when I was tracking to see what's the best way from my data to see what was the best way to play these numbers, I found out that these numbers hadn't failed this way in 15 years. It's three of them. And it's going to be 16 years in a minute if they don't come straight like this. Now, I've hit them. They circled in red. I've hit them pretty good already. Okay, I really did. But I'm waiting on them to come 160 and 076 and 574. Because these, like I tell you, these more money Terry going to the bank numbers. All right, but I ain't going to tell y'all what bank. I always say that, y'all. So, but I ain't gonna tell you what bank, but these more monetary going to the bank numbers because these numbers they came 15 years, and I'm gonna roll them right on over to 2023 because they got to fall now. And I'm gonna be playing anyway, so I need to be playing the three numbers I'm pretty sure gonna fall that ain't failed in 15 years. But I've still hit them. The other combinations, I hit the 016, I hit the 760, and I hit the 457 because that's how they came this year. But I'm waiting for them to come like this. That's where I'm putting my money at. When I win, that's where I put my money at. Okay. Now, here, everything in red we've hit. Everything in red. Just recently we've hit. And I'll show you at the end of this prediction how we hit them, all right, off the calendar. But what you're looking at is for the numbers that haven't failed yet, on average. We use the law of average. These numbers are for the rest of the year, and like I specified, these ain't guess numbers. These are the actual numbers that's left to play. These doubles here for the rest of the year. Everything in red we've hit. We hit the 8s and we hit the 3s. All right? But I gotta say again, I'm gonna say it again. I do not put my money in triples. For a simple reason, triples only come 3 times out of the year on average, maybe 2 times. You know, you don't have those out of norms, out of average things, but on average, it only comes 3 times out of the year, all right? And it only comes one way. So there's, it's hard to catch. The only way I play triples, pretty much, I did hit the 8s, but I knew why I strategized, I knew why I hit them. And the 3s, I know why the 3s was to be due. But the only way I do triples, if from January to November, don't no triple fall, then I'll pick up triples for January. But by that time, for December. But by that time, I didn't track all the numbers down where I didn't dissect them. I almost know what triple to play if one ain't played all the way for the whole year. That's how I play. I don't try to hit those triples throughout the year because if it's on average and they don't fall all year, 3 triples might fall in December. 2 or 3 of them. Okay? And then if they don't fall in December, I might, play them on over to January, but that's probably as far as I'm going to go with them to see how they go. If they don't fall in by November, I'll play December. But if they don't hit in January, I'm pretty much done with triples because I'm not going to chase those triples. They're too hard to hit. All right. These numbers here are mirrors of each other. We just hit the 4, 5, 6. I had 4, 5, 6 and the 901 up here. We just hit the 901. They mirror each other. They opposite of each other. If you a pick 3 player, you probably know what I mean by numbers being mirrors and opposite. And if you don't know, just go to one of my tutorial videos or comment, and I'll send you a link showing you my tutorial videos and how to understand what mirrors and opposite numbers are. Same here. There's 233, there's 788, and there's 224, and there's 770. They doubles that mirror each other. They're due. All right. Especially this 233 and the 788. They ain't failed last year. From my tracking, I carry numbers that haven't failed the prior year over to the next year because it takes 3 to 4 years for those 1,000 numbers to rotate. And if you ain't following and tracking them numbers, you pulling numbers out of the air, out of the sky, and a tic-tac-toe, date sum grid, flips, and 100 different rundowns is the trees. And you missing the whole forest. Okay? I'm telling you. I'm just putting it out there like it is, not like it was, like we used to say in the OG days. I'm telling you like it is, not like it was. All right? Those are the trees. You need to be looking at the forest. If you can track all the numbers and you're a daily pick 3 player and you're serious like I am, why wouldn't you track your own numbers and find out what numbers to play? Especially when, I haven't seen anything like this on pick 3. I would have had it before. But now, since you got pick three at a glance, you know, why wouldn't you pick your own numbers to play and your front pairs and your back pairs and your single digits and your single pairs? Well, I mean, but if you know, and have somebody else give you a number and you spending your money. I mean, that's on y'all. That's on you. If y'all got, if it's working for you, now I'm gonna say this: if it's working for you and you hit like that, then good for you. But I like to know how or where you get the numbers from, because I ain't seen it yet. Believe me, and I've been watching YouTube ever since I put this system together. It's people been doing. I've been watching people on YouTube trying to get those different strategies before I came up with my strategy. But it just, if I wasn't hitting right, them numbers wasn't lining up, and I knew I could hit them, but I just hadn't figured out how to hit them. And I realized I had to stop looking at the trees and start looking at the forest. Okay, so yeah, these are the mirror of each other. Okay, and I'm really, you know, like I said, it's 233 and 788 didn't fall last year, and it's in the mirror and opposite of it, the 223, which we just hit. See how it was there? See where I had it posted there? Across from each other, you see this 223 and this 233 hadn't hit last year on evening, and the 788 and the 778, the other opposite hadn't hit. The 233 just fell, and the 778 fell just before the 223. So now, for this year, you got the 233 and the 788 left. See what I mean by tracking and knowing what the numbers are doing, looking at the forest. Looking at the forest. So now I'm looking at the forest, I know, okay, there's a good likelihood that these going to come in. And this 225 and 770 hadn't failed at all for this year. And they pairs, it mirrors each other. Okay, I'm looking at the forest. I'm not looking at the trees. Now, the twos and the zeros, I had them set up to play because they had the zeros and the twos hadn't fell as a pair together, two and zeros, and the zeros fell one time, something like in 16 zeros came in 1 month. I forget what month it is right now. So that's why I put the zeros and the twos, and them the only ones I was looking at playing. I wasn't playing and playing all them triples, trying to hit triples when they only come 3 times out of a year. And that's the thing your eyes gonna open wide open when you look into the forest. Okay, now same way here. Like I said, you got the front pairs and you got the back pairs. Front pairs you got that ain't hit yet. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And to be truthful with you, I've never seen these many numbers only left too much since I've been tracking for 30 years. But I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't been tracking. It's usually like 12 numbers on each one of these sides left about this time of the year. About 12, 13, 14 numbers. You only got 2 left for the whole year. That ain't hit on the back end. So if first time you pick 3, play 50-cent box, dollar box dollar on the front pair and the back pair. But, play responsibly and don't try to hit so hard. When you do hit, then reinvest it into the numbers that you actually know that ain't came yet by the year. Okay? Same way with these front, 5 of them play 50-cent box. I'm an even number. I like even numbers. Let's go with 6 of them, 50-cent box, or 4 of them, 50-cent box. If you want to, I go with the 4 of them. Depends on your money. I don't like 5. I don't like odd numbers. But my birthday is an odd number 9, so I don't. And then the other number 27 is a 9 when you add them together and all that stuff. You start thinking like that when you play this pick 3. But I just don't do odd numbers. It's just too complicated to me. I like even. That's why I do the one on the numbers, because it's one number and you can count straight down and you're done. Okay. So all righty. So pretty much, that's what I want you to understand. We're looking at the forest, not at the trees. Here, how you match up at the end of the year, I look at the 2-2-4, the front 2-2 ain't played, and 2-4 back ain't played. So the number play is 2-2-4. And the 2-2, I already know, only played one side of the year, front. And the 2-5, one side of front, and I hit them. And the 2-2, the 2-0, I hit it. Law average. That's all you're doing. I'm playing with the fours. I ain't in them trees getting stumbled and beat up. I'm in the fours. And here, 32. These all came. The A8, I hit the 8. I hit the A8 back because I played $1 on the back end, and I played this $1 on a couple dollars on the front end. And box, I played the 8s. But I wouldn't have known that if I wasn't looking at the 4s. Okay? This is what we got to do. We got to look at the 4. Pick 3 is the only one we can do this on individually and with my simple system. All right? And I ain't charging nobody. This ain't costing nobody a dime. Only way I'm going to charge anybody on this if it have to come out of my pocket. But if somebody want to contribute to something, no. But I like to keep things smooth. But you can write all this out on shorthand on paper, all my lessons on paper, just like you did in school, and start tracking with me today off my tutorials. It's easy. That's how I started. I didn't have no computer, none of that stuff. But I just wrote it all on longhand. Just wrote it all out. Same here with this 2-8. This is a good one. This 2-8 front and this 8-8 back. I would play 2-8-8. I had put that on there for the triple H came. This 8-0, it's just on the front. But say if I had this 8-0 here and 08 on the back hadn't failed, my number would be 808 to play. And if it goes into the next year, and then especially if I see that, here the 808 is here. And if I see 808 hadn't played all year, and I see the 80 on the front and the 08 on the back ain't played, next year I'm going to make sure I'm playing 808. That's how I hit the 060, because last year 06 front and 60 back didn't fail. So I put that on my bucket list to play for this year and hit it. When you start doing this, the only reason you won't hit your numbers is because you fell off of them too soon. Because they're going to come, because they come by law average. The 090 was the same way. The 09 front last year hadn't failed, and the 90 back hadn't failed. My number was played 090. I hit it. It's in my communication tabs and on my channel. You can see them. But you got to stop looking at the trees. Start looking at the forest. Okay. And here, I lined these up. These same numbers are the numbers up here that hadn't hit. So what I did, I lined the pairs up like the 90 here, with a 01 pair here, the 901, 016, 018. All right. I lined them up because I knew by law averaging tracking, when you got at this end of the year and you got 3 numbers that ain't hit off your column or off your that's left, really, line them up so you can see them. And 901 and 016 came. Same way here I did. 915, the 15 is a pair, 815 and 571 pair. We just hit those. Okay. And then here it's the 559, 359, 915, and 579. Okay. And that's how I hit them. And then we hit the 915. All right. That's how you can track the data. Now, if our beginners, if like I said, I like even numbers, but here is 3 left. Pair 682, 683, 468. Okay. Play them straight box or 50 box. Or play one straight box and then these 2 50 box. That's $2. That's an even number. Whatever your money say. If you're in Missouri, now this is Missouri evening draw now. But when you start tracking, you'll be able to do the same thing and strategize just like I'm doing. Here we hit the eights because I say, okay, double eight pair ain't failed. Here's the double eight pairs that's left for the year. So that's why I say, okay, triple eight's got to be in that bunch. And then triple eight hadn't fell on the back end either. So I was pretty sure that them eights was going to fall. But I did that at the end of the year, pretty much. But you'll be strategizing and figuring out how to hit your numbers during the year. And you'll be hitting during the year, but you'll know why you playing your numbers. And when you miss, you'll know how you missed your numbers. And you know what column it came off of, what column didn't come off of, and how long that column ain't hit on. Everything you're going to need to know about these pick three, you'll be able to know. It's the only one we can do that on. And it's the only one I play. Now, when the Mega Million Powerball get high, I buy a couple of tickets on that, but that's all, because I know everything other than pick three is strictly luck. You can't strategize on none of that. Not no individual. I don't know, they might have computers that can put something together for you, but I wouldn't play it then because the odds are just too long. Odds just too long. But pick three has been good to me. Okay, family, let me show you the calendar we can hit so far. For December, everything in red. Everything in red we've hit for this month. And last month wasn't too much different. Every month before that ain't been too much different. This is how we hit in Missouri. Evening draw. But you can do this in any state if you tracking the numbers and know why you're playing the numbers. Okay? And do this in any state. Yep, and we ain't through yet. Because I feel these doubles. And like I said, if you look at anything here, when you track it and you're looking at the fours instead of looking at the trees, do you see that ain't a double play for the whole month except for the eights, the triple eights? So quite naturally, you really need to be focusing on these doubles here, Missouri evening draw. All right? And you might want to look at the triples. These triples I got here, I ain't going to say trace all them triples. 50 cents straight on them is $300. But yeah, them doubles look good. They look good. And you know why they look so good? Because ain't a double fail all month but triple eights. And a double mean double number, two like numbers. Ain't that something? That's very interesting. That's what I'm saying. This is a strange year for tracking the numbers. Strange year. But it looked like they were working in our favor real good. Because I was saying it earlier how these numbers were working with the lower average coming off. Okay, family. So I'm not going to hold you any longer. But look at them double. I want you to see them. All right? Let's see what comes off of them before the year's out. All right. Play them till they come. Make that money, y'all. Peace and love. God bless.